What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. This is the first video I'll be uploading this year, so I'm starting this video in the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Bismillah, Mashallah, my brothers and my sisters. This is the first video and I should definitely commit everything into the hands of God before we get into the video. What you're seeing right here on my screen right now is called a zipper placket. So I'm going to take you guys through the process of making this. So give the video a thumbs up, and that's the first thing you're going to give me as a gift this year. So smash the like button. So as you guys can see right here, this is called a zipper placket. Instead of putting the normal placket, it's a zipper placket. And if you look at the inside of the placket, you can see that the zipper is covered, like the inside is as clean as possible. So I'm going to take you guys through the process of doing this step by step. You can see what I have here. Look at the inside very well. Let me open it very well so you can see it. You can see that I covered the inside. You can't see the zipper stitch at all. So I'll take you guys through the process of doing this from A to Z. So make sure you give the video a thumbs up. It's very simple. And if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, this is the best channel for you. You should smash the subscribe button. It is below this particular video. That plays the road to subscribe. So do that, and without further ado, let's get straight into the tutorial for this year. So before we get into the video, I believe you already cut out your outfit. In case you don't know how to do this, there is a link under this video that will take you to a video on how to cut a senator step by step. So this is the zipper in which you're going to be using. You can see that you can use any type of zipper that you have, can work for that. So the first thing I'm going to do is just to determine the length in which I want the zipper to be, because this zipper is like around 22 inches. So here I want the length of my placket to be a total of 16 inches, right? So at that 16 inches length, from that my neckline, I'm going to mark 16 inches just at that particular place. You can see that that's where the zip is going to end. So I want you guys to follow this video step by step, and if you're enjoying it so far, make sure you smash the like button, and if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So after getting the length in which we want our zipper to reach, you can see that I'm going to add an interfacing to that back. Make sure you're working with the wrong side of the fabric. This is the wrong side and this is the right side. You can see that. So I'm going to add a very light interfacing at that center part in order to give it a little bit hard texture, right? It shouldn't be too soft so that you can iron it and it will be smooth in the front. So this is the interfacing I'll be using. It's a very light interfacing. You can see that. We call this chest gum. If you go to the market, you can call it chest gum. They will know exactly what you want. You can see that very light interfacing. I'm just going to iron it to that place. It shouldn't be too large, just a very tiny, maybe like 1/1 inch, like 1 inch, right? Is enough. So I'm going to iron it to the fabric and make sure it is as relaxed as possible. So after ironing it, you see that this is what we're going to be having. So now you can see that I already closed the 16 inches that I measured before for my length. So I'm going to mark the 16 inches back. I'm going to mark the 16 inches back right here. So I'm going to iron it, and I'm going to get my center points back. So I fold it back together so I can get my center points accurately. So I can get that gaiters at the center. You can see that. This is what I have. So make sure you give it a thorough ironing and it's as smooth as possible. So now what we're going to be doing now is to cut this into two, so that we're going to insert our zip in the middle of that. So after stitching, the total you're going to be seeing is just the metal center part of the zip that's going to reflect outside. So it has to be as smooth as possible. So I want you guys to pay attention very well. That's very important. And smash the like button. All right, so now the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut out the turn up, the fabric we're going to use to do the turn up of the zip itself, so that inside of the zip is going to be as neat as possible, because we are supposed to hide the zipper itself from the inside. So I cut a piece of fabric, you can see, just like a total of 2 inches wideness. So after cutting that, the next thing I'm going to do is just to slit the center of your senator opened. You can see, just like this. I'm just going to slit it open. You can see what I'm doing. Just slit it open, make sure it is straight. You can see that. And I'm going to stop in at our 16 inches length. Don't forget that. At our 16 inches length, I'm going to stop right here. You can see that. That's our 16 inches length. So exactly on that 16 inches length that I marked, I'm going to make a notch. The notch shouldn't be more than 1/4 of an inch. So the 1/4 of an inch is what we are going to fold inside to turn up our zip. You can see that I'm going to make a notch right here. Just a very tiny notch. Shouldn't be too much. You can see that. Like a 1/4 of an inch. You can see. So the notch, you can see that. So the notch in which we are making is what we're going to fold, is what we're going to stitch inside from the edge in order to turn the zipper. I'm trying to explain this step by step so you're going to understand it. So if you're doing it, you're going to be able to like follow this step by step and do it with ease. So I hope you guys understand that. You can see. So now, also on this one, and I don't have to add any interfacing to this one. I just have to measure my length. The length is 16 inches. I'm going to measure exactly the same thing here. I'm going to measure my 16 inches. Just exactly from that center point right here. From the neck area, I'll measure my 16 inches. And I'm also going to cut this into two to that 16 inches length and make a notch. On this one, I'm not adding any interfacing. It's just the plain fabric. Right, so pay attention to that. You can see what I'm doing. And also, if you want to learn the basic of making this senator outfit, you can join my class. I have an online class and I also have a physical class that entails being in my workshop and seeing everything I'm doing step by step. A link will be under this video to my WhatsApp line and my Telegram channel so we can talk about that. So now you see what we have here. You see that? So now the next thing we are going to do now is to start our stitch. It's actually not as difficult as you might think. The next thing we're going to do now, you can see here, right there on the zipper, you can see that I'm just going to turn the zipper upside down. Make sure the holder part, the zip holder is actually facing the fabric. You can see I'm working at the right side of the fabric. So I'm going to turn it like this. You can see that I'm going to make sure this actually overlap a little bit so that the zipper is going to reach the hem of the neck itself. You can see what I'm doing right here. You can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to run a stitch all the way down. Just like that from that edge. So I'm going to run a stitch all the way down to that our 16 inches length. You can see that all the way down. So after stitching that part, if you turn it up, you're going to see only the metal part. Make sure your stitch is close. And after that, we are going to stitch this one on top of it again. That will be the second stitch. I'm just trying to explain before we do the stitching. So after we turn it, this one is going to cover the zipper from the inside. That's the major process. You can see that. So I'm going to take this to the sewing machine now and I'm going to run my first stitch. And you guys are going to see. So this is the first stitch. It's going to be separately. You can see. So when I turn this right here, you can see what it looks like. You can see the inside. If I turn this like this, you can see what I'm having. You see that? You can zip it down. You can see that the only thing that is obvious is the metal part. You can see, so after you're done with this, the next thing we are going to do now is basically very simple. We are going to stitch it all around to the next zipper part, to the next one, to the next side, right? We're going to stitch it to the next side. It's very simple. You can see the end part. You can see that end part. Make sure that notch in which we cut, you're going to push it under the zip itself, right? So I can simply turn this upside like this. You can see here. Just here, I'm going to turn this over like this before we use our turn up to do the closing. So I'm going to do the next stitch on the zip, the second sleeve of the zip. I'm just skipping. I'm just going to do it on that other side. Then we can do our closing. So let me show you that again. Let me go to the sewing machine. Just like this. It's very simple. Just open this up like this. You can see, and you're just going to run your stitch all the way to the top and make sure it's as balanced as possible. So this is what I'm going to be having. You can see I already stitched it from the down part. So if I open this up, this is what I'm going to be having here. You can see the zipper at the center part of the shirt. You can see that. So from the inside, this is what you're going to be seeing from the inside. You can actually leave yours like this if you want it to be like this. But because I want it to be as professional as possible and I want the inside to be closed, that's why I have to cover this inside part. So I'm going to take you guys through the process of doing that also. So give this a good iron first before you do your turn up. So here, this is our closing. So at this place, all you have to do is just to repeat exactly the same thing you do in the front and just do it at the back also with this other fabric. You can see that. So right here, I'm just going to place this like this, just at the center part, and I'm going to run a stitch all the way down to the corner and to the top again. So let me do that and show you guys the result. It's actually very simple. You can see that. So I can turn this to this side and do the closing, and you won't be able to see the zip, the entire zipper fabric at all. It's going to be closed. Then we're going to do a finishing. So this is what I have. You can see that. Just stitch that from the side, and if I open this, you can see what I'm having here. You can see here. You can see how close, and you can see the front panel. You can see how close that is looking. So it's actually very simple. It's not as difficult as that. So now this is what you're having. The next thing I'm going to do now is just to take my time to iron this place, give it a thorough ironing, and make sure it is as relaxed as possible. You can see that. You can see what I'm doing. Make sure it is very relaxed. You see that. So what I have, make sure that notch part, make sure you push it inside. You can see, make sure you push it inside. You can see what that part is going to look like. Push it inside and do a closing from that side and iron it down. It's going to basically relaxed. You can see it's not as difficult as you think. You see what I have here. So after that is done, the next thing we are going to do now is to cut the zipper and do our hemming. So now the hemming of those sides is going to be an hemming gum. You're just going to fold this inside like this, and you're going to take your entire time. Take your time to iron it and make sure the stitch, the folding and the hemming does not reflect in the front. That's the most important. It doesn't have to be too thick in the front, so you have to take your time. So I'm just going to place an hemming gum underneath that fold that I make all the way down, just underneath the fold, and I'm going to iron it. And also at the down part, and make sure you iron the front part also, so that the fold does not reflect at all. You can see that. So I'm going to place this inside like this, and I'm going to iron it. So let me do that and show you guys the results. So this is what we are having so far. You can see how smooth this is looking. You can see how smooth this is looking. So all I had to do now is just to give it a good ironing. You can see the inside. You see how relaxed the inside is looking, and we've already covered up our hemming entirely. So now the next thing I'm going to do is just to cut the zip and simply fold the fabric. This fabric that I'm holding, I'm going to fold it inside, and I'm going to hem it down. I'm going to use an hemming gum to hold it down. So our zip is covered and everything is covered entirely. You see that? So let me do that, close the outfit itself, and show you guys the final results that we are going to be having. It's actually a very simple design, and I hope you guys like the tutorial. If you like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and make sure you definitely subscribe to the channel if you are yet to subscribe to the channel. All right, so after I join my shoulder and I join my neck and I do the folding, this is the final finishing that you guys are seeing right here. You can see what it looks like. All you have to just do to join your taping, join your shoulder, and join your sleeve. Your outfit is ready and your placket is ready. You can see what I have. If I open it up, you see that it's basically very simple. You can see the zipper. You can zip it up, you can zip it down. And if you look at the inside of the finishing, I use an hemming gum, as I told you guys earlier, so the pipe is going to hold it at the top part. You see what I have here? You can see that. So that is the final result. So make sure you give the video a thumbs up if it has helped you in any ways, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're yet to subscribe to the channel. In case you want to join my intensive class, link will be under this video, so you guys should join to get better at sewing and finishings. So that's about it. See you on the next video. Peace.